Yo, what's good, yo? It's your boy ThaniaBear, aka Natty, aka that nigga. And we're back at it again on stream. As you can see, your boy's got an apple. And you may have noticed the camera's slightly a little bit different. I did some editing. The great apple, excuse me. Oh, so juicy. We love apples here. Top tier fruit. Let's see here. Put this boy right here. Normally I have chat right here, but we may have to put it out to the side. Hey. Yo. Alright. Excuse me. Alright, so today is technically Friday. Couple things on this stream we're going to be going through. Anyway, a couple of things we're going to be going through. Hold up. Wait a second. Coca kilo. Tun sahur. Okay. Alright. Let's get the mic focused. Alright. Apologies for the hum in the background. That is the AC. Alright. Apple's done. Hands are free. So, welcome back. Let's just rock the intro again, because really we didn't have a real intro. Alright, so what's good, y'all? It's your boy ThaniaBear, aka Natty, aka that nigga. And in the background, the instrumental you've been hearing this whole entire time is the instrumental for my up and coming single Hand Over My Heart, which is my solo release, which not to be confused with Nightstand Lamps, which stay tuned on that. That's a band project release that I got coming up relatively soon. We're just working on one more a record before we got 5 to ship out. So this year at minimum you're getting 10 new singles from the boy, which is great coming back into everything. But if you may or may not know, been out of the game for a while. And by the game I just mean releasing music and dropping consistently, because to be honest, I just kind of wanted to reach a certain quality standard of excellence. I don't think I'm there yet. However, I am at that point now to where, like, as you guys are seeing, I can start sharing, you know, what I do, content, how I create, what I create. And in lieu of that, on today's stream, you guys are gonna practice guitar with me. Yay! No, but for real though, y'all actually gonna practice guitar with me, real time. And like I said earlier, you can probably see how the camera is slightly a bit better color graded. I just tried, you know, making it feel better, look better. Lowered the shutter speed a decent amount actually. I think I still maintain the FPS at like 30 FPS, but I feel it's doesn't look as amateurish. Still got a long way to go in terms of like this side, soft lighting this side, but I got some decent, you know, got a decent lighting rig going right now. It's not the worst. Could be better. Could be better. Also too, don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you enjoy what y'all are about to see, and by if I mean when. Okay, but like I said, we're gonna start off with me practicing guitar, and specifically, I've already been warming up pretty much damn near all day just because I've been working, but I'm still gonna continue some more hard work on the stream, but more in particular on some of those stump riffs. And we might do some practice for Fluffy. More so to like a BP, like a metronome, because I rarely actually do it to a metronome. So we're gonna do some of that, but we're actually gonna start out with a thumping video. We're on the second lick, which I think we're almost done learning the second lick. Hold up. Let me actually mute this guy. Okay. So you may or may not be able to hear. So you can technically hear the microphone, which kind of sucks. Let me see if I can. What's it called? I can make it in such a way to where the latency isn't so bad. Let's try 28. Okay. Could be worse. Although I still feel there's going to be some like audio lag. Let's see here. Which, once again, I think y'all are gonna hear a slight delay, perhaps. Yeah. Hold up. Dun sound. We are going to take the supervisor off. This guy, since it's a thump instructional video, we should probably warm up by thumping first. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get a metronome. And so this riff is in 87. I am going to mute my mic for a second. Ba 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 ba.
thumped low E notes sound through. So yeah, for figure 2.
Bring the mic back. Alright, turn that off, and then we'll close this boy out. Don't save my nigga. Okay, gonna unplug this guy. We're gonna put him back here for now. Alright, let's get up close and personal for this one, eh? Get up close and personal. Alright. Cool. Alrighty, and for those of you who are, reacting along or watching along, feel free to read along as well. Right now, actually, before I forget, I'm gonna post this into my Discord. So if you are a part of the ThaniaBear Discord, I'm going to upload where I read this week's chapter. I did do it last week because, to be honest with you, last week was kind of a delay. I don't even know if I did a reaction. I did do a reaction to 1046, but what's it called? It was a bit delayed. Cold chat. Oh, let me not be there. Alright, let's see. General discussion, anime and stuff. On Twitch. Alrighty. Cool. So just let the Discord know. Alright, cool. First of all, what we got here? We got chapter 1147, One Piece. Hold up, let me get some background music. Gonna refresh, throw some background vibes. Yes sir. Alright, we are at chapter 1147, One Piece. And then we got the Shonen Jump, or Weekly Jump cover page. Pretty busy per usual. Got some dope art pieces. It looks like we have like a video game theme for this cover. I love the artwork. We got Sakamoto Days and the main character from Sakamoto Days, and we got Luffy, which, just looking at Oda's artwork is just so amazing. Like, just the style, just care and attention. Like, one thing I love about his art form is the implied forms, because like his painting skills are one thing entirely, but his ability to just like show the contour of an object with his line work is just impressive. Very skilled. Let's see here. Alright, so with chapter 1147, the things we find scary. And let's see, then the continuation of the cover page story, which is Oni, Child Yamato, and the Holy Inari Shrine, Pilgrimage, Volume 32. Raizo, the daimyo of Udon, expresses his gratitude to Yamato. So yeah, it looks like he gives Yamato some rice cakes, which it seems like a homeboy here in the bottom left is holding who's mask? Or somebody's horns. Huh. Curious who that would be. But we got some interesting vibes here. We got Raizo. Overall, cool. It's cover page. Anyway, we are back in the action, which it picks up. It seems to be picking up at Saul, where Saul was at fighting Summers, but it seems to be starting off that first panel with a flashback. So Robin, Chopper, Hyde. I've seen him before. He's a God's Knight, huh? They're immortal. We can't beat them. So there you go. They are immortal, so it's not just the Gorosei, but it would seem the Gorosei and the God's Knights have immortality. So for the children's sake, you've got to stay hidden and wait for the right moment. The survivor of Ohara, well, I guess there were two of you, huh? The Marines sure dropped the ball there. Dang. Okay, so they're kind of quiet. Summers is like, Gunko, you done rounding up the Straw Hats? Are we bringing them back with us? Summers, you dolt. You know we aren't here to provoke Straw Hat Luffy, right? We are to carry out our mission and go back home. Okay, so Gunko's got them all captured. Yes, these Gods Knights are no joke. It's like they got Nami, Jinbei, Usopp, and Brook dealt with. Grr, how dare they do that to Saul? And they think Colin, and they took Colin too. How could you let this happen, Jinbei? I thought we'd be good with you here. Quit making a racket. I'm trying to think. I wonder how do we handle this ability. That lady's scary. I thought I was a goner. That woman. No, it couldn't be. What? Yeah, she's back. The zombie lady. Interesting. So she's kind of made a sword out of her arrows? Or at least out of the tape. Okay, Brook. You there, huh? Your life will be devoted to making music for me. You belong to me. So it is true. She seems to know who Brook is. She seems to be a fan. What the? She knows Brook's music? No way. She's a Celestial Dragon and a Soul King fan? That's what I'm saying. You wouldn't think both would kind of be simultaneous or synonymous with each other. That's one hell of a groupie. Of course, you're back. Hey, Gunko, cut that out. I'm not in the mood to pick a fight with an emperor here either. Let's finish the job. My sincerest apologies, young lady. My Captain Straw Hat Luffy gave me a second lease on life. Since then, my loyalty has been to him alone. And if refusal means forfeiting your life, I would sooner embrace them than live without honor. Let's go. It's that shit, bro. Talk your shit, nigga. Respect. Gotta love it. Oh, I just realized the music stopped. I was like, where did the music go? Have it on loop. Anyway, back to the vibes. Alright, so my sincerest apologies, young lady. My Captain Straw Hat Luffy gave me a second lease on life. Since then, my loyalty has been to him alone. And if refusal means forfeiting your life, I would sooner embrace death than live without honor. Oh. I don't want y'all hearing the vocal part yet. No. Y'all can't hear the vocals yet. That's the early demo. Anyway, Brook gets his ass kicked by Gunko. And she is playing no games at all. Yeah. I love her schematic, though. Having the ability to just sort of, you know, show you what she's going to do and still kick your ass. Interesting. There seems to be some damage on Gunko, though, after she kicked Brook, though. Brook, we good killing him? Yeah, go ahead. Can you hear me, you warriors of Elbaf? Who's that? A transmission? I bet by now you're feeling the pressure from all these abnormalities. This is our handiwork. I am the dagger of the holy land of Marijois, the summers of the Gods Knight. Okay, the dagger of the holy knights. Dang, it seems like there's a lot more nightmares that are taking over than just the ones that we saw initially. Okay. Artisan Village, southeast region of the Realm of the Sun. Marijois? So they're with the world government. What do they want? Chief, this is broadcasting all over Elbaf. At the moment, they're exposing themselves. Hunter Village, northwest region. Are the kids okay? You're probably already aware, but we are currently in the middle of kidnapping 10 children from this country. Oh yeah, and we've already taken down a certain orange-bearded guy who was trying his darndest to free them. So they're aware of Saul. Okay. So it's letting them know the updates at the moment. Something happened to Mr. Saul? In short, you naively assumed those brats would keep you safe, and they're still storming toward our goal. Saul? It's showtime. Too bad we don't have a video feed. Do you remember the name of all the kids we had march out of here? Of course. Alright, then you'll inform the parents. It's about time for the children to wake up from their dreams. Interesting. So he's aware of how long they'll be awake too. Okay. Hey! What are we doing walking out here? Where are we going? Don't know, but I bet it's far away. Nuh-uh, this is branch 18, the way back home. Yeah, but our bodies are still moving on their own, aren't they? So we're not going home, but I want my mommy. I want my daddy. You can't see them. We've been kidnapped. Okay, so Colin seems to be working with his pirate crew already. See, low-key, this looks like foreshadowing for Colin's pirate crew, but we'll see. We'll see. What? Calm down, I'm here. I'm not like you weaklings. I'm a warrior. Yeah, it's a monster and a ghost. Colin, help! Colin's scary ass. Ooh. Let's see what we got here. Saul seems to have been taken out. Turn back. We're going to rescue the kids. Chiefs, about that. The ship has sprung a leak and we've gotten broken oars. On sky clouds, no less either. Damn it, what's this creature supposed to be? Not sure. Some kind of beastly woman? Looks kind of like my missus. You're in for a beating then. And the one over there looks like my wife. Huh? Hang on. These things, just the kid's fears come to life. Say, Brent's your kid, right? Yeah. So what if Brent finds Scary as his mom? Then that means their mothers. Interesting. Yeah, mamas do be scary like that. Anyone would be scared by that, even us. Yeah, we can't do this. Our spirits aren't strong enough. That's insane. They're literally fighting moms, which one seems to be a gross interpretation of Big Mom, and the other just good old Grammy, it looks like. I'm sorry for always going out drinking, Mom. Ma, I shouldn't have forgotten to take out the trash. Forgive me for eating the honey cake. Chiefs, this is bad. The ironclads have drifted away. We're going down. Interesting. Okay. That's interesting too. Summers made his thorns have like seem to be a creature. Huh. Okay. Gyaha, the ship of the mighty giant warrior pirates just crashed. Some strong dream demons got them. The odds seem to only get worse for those rats. Let's keep this brief. I am now addressing the legendary warrior, Mountain Beard Yarul. No, Dorian Brock couldn't have. Seeing as the king's gone, you will speak for Elbath. It can't be. The giant warrior's pirates' souls crashed. I hope the chiefs are safe. Let's hurry. Our goal is simple. You giants will serve as our battle thralls. Otherwise, we'll see just how valuable these brats are as hostages. I'm sure you're all curious about the 10 kids and where they're going, right? Okay. And now Oda is setting us up with our first countdown. Well, not our first countdown, but kind of like the schematic of where everything is at, which he has this very RPG-esque or Dungeons and Dragons approach to sort of like having an awareness of where all the conflict is happening, because it seems like everything is happening on what's called Branch 18, which Elbaf seems to be organized in certain branches where, because of how huge it is and how vast it is, each branch is sort of like its own ecosystem, and also too, certain branches, you know, have seemed to have been cut off from previous, like, you know, calamities. So, given that, it would seem. Alright, so we have essentially this one branch that everything's been happening on, which at the end of it is the castle, the Stein's castle, or at least the castle that Luffy and all of them were at initially. And before getting to that castle is the West Village. And a little bit north of there we have Dory, Brogy, and Yasan, which are the giant warrior pirates, which it seems Frankie and Ripley have met up with them. And over a little bit to the, actually the easternmost side of this map, it would seem we have the library and the school with Principal, Kiba, and Ange, with Killingham over at the comm over there. So that's the Walrus School and Library. And between the Walrus School and Library and the West Village, you have that stretch of land that Gunko, Summers, and Saul and a good majority of the Straw Hat crew are on, as well as the 10 children. So, yeah, so far that seems to be the schematic there. And I have the names of the kidnapped children. The first one is Yilva. Yilva, my great-great-granddaughter, Lord Yarul. We have Scotty. Olaf. The dream is just a dream. Captain, that's my grandson. Ouch. Colleen, I have the worst luck. Mug, I know I'm strong, but I can't stop. Ronya, it's okay, everything will work out in the end. Why did it have to be my daughter? They were on Branch 8, right? I'll go save her myself. Bent, Mama's gonna be so mad. Yeah, I bet. Jonna, At least you have parents. Okay, so we got an ancient giant girl. Bjorn just saved me at least. Goodness gracious. Looks like Bjorn might be a betrayer. It was just those 9, but later on another was taken because he came to save his friends. You suck, Bjorn. How could you say something like that? Sorry. The little warrior Colin, he makes 10. Colin? You hear that, Ripley? Our boy sure is something. This isn't the time to brag. I love how Ripley's like the worried mother and Yasan is over here like, don't worry, our son's gonna be just fine. Now we'll make our demands. Listen closely, Elbaf. Warriors have no needs for schools. They don't need libraries or their pointless history either. Set them ablaze and swear your allegiance to us. Okay. If you don't, we're gonna kill your kids off one by one. Help! Save us! The hell did he just say? We know where the kids are. Let's go save them. I'll smash them to bits. Elder Yaru, the choice is yours. Interesting. Okay. Mine? Please wait. That's too cruel. The school is a symbol of Elbaf's peace, and the library not only safeguards our long history, but also the secrets of the world that the scholars of horror have sacrificed their lives to protect. It doesn't just belong to Elbaf. You sure are a big mouth. Robin, don't do it. Yasan, please. On it. I'm not gonna let it happen. An unlikely duo springs into action. Okay. And it doesn't seem to be a break chapter next week. So, it looks like we might get a Robin and a Yasan team up against Summers. I'm here for this. But if we get Scalper Gabon against one of the Gods Knights, there's a possibility for us to get a God's Valley flashback here, because in my head, Killingham, I don't know why I think this, but in my head, Killingham was that guy with the deer mask. I don't know if y'all remember that, but there was a dude with like a deer mask. It reminds me of Killingham. Overall, we got a solid chapter here. This was one of those chapters that's kind of like building the tension, kind of stacking up the stakes, sort of kind of explaining more of the conflict, really kind of also giving us some more character depth with just who the Gods Knights are and how dangerous we should kind of be, paying attention to them, because we've kind of been having this back and forth between the Gods Knights and the Giants, and usually this is kind of how Oda goes about it, where he reveals these things about the enemies, as well as he's also kind of setting up the kind of challenge or the game, if you will, which the game does seem to be the Gods Knights sort of honestly just tugging at the will of the families to really force the Giants to kind of like submit. But it's interesting though, because Summers, even though his fruit, it didn't specify that it was a Logia or a Zoan type of any sort, but it does seem that his vines have a character of sorts. So that's going to be interesting. I'm very curious to see kind of Summers really use his abilities kind of more in combat. And he doesn't seem small either. Like compared to Saul, he seems relatively sizable as an individual, even Killingham. Like these aren't particularly small people per se, but also two Giants are huge. So I don't want to necessarily say they're that big comparatively. Almost. Nah, Giant children are still bigger than them. But, yeah, very interesting. This arc is just kind of Oda's kind of approach to just the double page spreads. Honestly, in general with Elbaf, what I'm liking about Elbaf is just sort of the nature of how it feels very fun. I can only imagine how well Elbaf is going to be drawn in the anime. But right now, just how it's being drawn just in the manga, like, the trees and the greenery and just the contour of everything, it just has like a certain, it has just a certain vibe to it. It has a certain weight to it. It feels expansive. It feels grand. It feels great. Oda is just really great at also just displaying figure and form. Honestly, one of these reacts, or at least one of these live reacts, I really want to do like some live sketching to where it's like as I'm reacting to a panel or a page, where you can also sort of see me kind of like pick one of the panels to kind of draw. Now I probably won't do the full panel, like the backgrounds or anything, but definitely something action based, or like a character with like maybe the voice effects sort of thing, or maybe not the whole background, but like a certain aspect of the background, like maybe trying to render what the trees, try to see if I can render a tree, you know? Really just setting up a scene, which Oda just does a really good job of just setting up these scenes and these locations to kind of give more context. Like, for instance, the scene with Ange and Killingham, like anytime you see Killingham or Ange, it's at an angle to where you get a little bit more information about the room they're in, kind of the damage. Like, for instance, the view is kind of the same, but he does adjust. It's just very subtle, but it's like the camera adjustment is just the angle of how he approaches or looks at Killingham's subtly changes. And I'm honestly a big fan. Like, just studying Oda's artwork, especially in this chapter, has been pretty fun. Like, some of these kid characters, I have a good feeling he's gonna have fun kind of drawing them as adults, because I have a good feeling there may be a time to, you know, do that, or there may be a reason to do that. Pretty cool though. I'm just like literally just looking at the art. It's so awesome. It's so awesome. But yeah, no, it looks like we're gonna get a Robin and Scapper Gaban charge up on the guys. Which Scapper's design definitely seems to mirror a lot of Master Roshi, which that kind of seems to be the vibe in general with the Roger Pirates, but especially Scapper. Which it's interesting that we got Rayleigh before Scapper. It may have been kind of one of those things where Oda wanted somebody slightly more hyped to keep us, you know, interested in the mid-story before introducing some of the main players, but yeah, man, overall phenomenal chapter. I think it's kind of one of those chapters where some people might rate it a 7 out of 10. I personally would rate it an 8 out of 10, just because you're building stakes, you're building character, and we're setting up for a fight this upcoming chapter, which I'm always in love with, just seeing the fights whenever we get a chance. So excited to see what that's gonna look like. But yeah, y'all, I'm gonna kind of wrap up the stream here on that. I did want to cook up a loop or some type of musical idea for y'all, but I'm not gonna force it. Definitely have a lot of time later tomorrow, as well as, you know, went over some of the week notes, which we were able to get a good amount of stuff done on the music end. We actually also got right now I have about like 4 sort of samples, official audios, if you will, that I have organized in this one vibe, and I'm trying to organize the different weeks into different vibes so I can have different content to post on the weekly, because I want to post about a sample a week. So I already have like about a month covered with just the 4 that I've made. But I'm also gonna make more content throughout the week. Like, for instance, I want to get back to doing those I have this idea called riffagios, which is just my way of saying is like a riff that I've just made to like work on technique or some specific, or combine certain aspects of a technique in a compositional way, which those riffagios could grow into songs or riff ideas, but it's essentially just quick little like snack bite riffs that I'm going to be writing. And I already have like a course kind of outlined and ready, but I have to hold off on, you know, packaging that, because that's going to be a more high ticket offer that I'm going to put behind a monthly for fans. So the tabs for like the riffagios and all that, that's going to be a part of the reels of those, you know, songs. But then I initially had a certain format that I was going to do for the loops, but I think I got an aesthetic that I feel very happy and comfortable with. It's very Final Fantasy-esque, which is a lot of the marketing that I'm kind of approaching with ThaniaBear in general. I'm leaning into a lot of Final Fantasy-isms, because that's kind of the audience I feel I speak to. I speak to the black nerd, the gamer nerd, people of that kind of ilk, of that understanding of those struggles and of those woes. So, you know, if you identify with that, even the music you're listening to right now, it's stuff I enjoy, stuff I made that I'm very proud of. So, yeah, be on the lookout for that new content. I feel like May is when it's all going to start rolling out, and also too, I'm just going to be making different reels and pieces of content for you know, Nightstand, which is the band I'm in, the other band I'm in. with the boy Bogus, which he has a performance this April 26th. So if you're in the Fort Worth, Dallas area, feel free to stop by a Loadout bar over in Fort Worth. Super dope vibes. I think it's gonna be around like 7 or so when the show starts. I'm not entirely sure. I gotta double check, but yeah, if you got time, just want to see y'all out there. I might stop by for a second. We'll see. But yeah, that's all the deuces. So appreciate y'all for sticking by with me this stream and reacting with One Piece, and also just being with me as I practice guitar and just work on just getting better. It's your boy ThaniaBear, aka Natty, aka that nigga, and it's been a lovely stream. Please like, comment, subscribe, comment your thoughts, comment your woes, your worries, anything and all the above. Hit the notification bell so you're notified of all the things coming up, and please follow me on Twitch. Oh my goodness, please follow me on Twitch. Like, I cannot implore you enough to follow me on Twitch. That is probably the best thing you can do for me in this season, on top of subscribing and liking and commenting on YouTube. So stay tuned to that. And if you saw me or found this channel from a reel, please also let me know in the comments. I want to know which reel it's from, because I want to just make more cool stuff that people enjoy too, because I like creating things and I would like to create things that people enjoy. And if you like it, let me know, please. All that being said, I hope y'all have a lovely morning / evening wherever you're watching this from. And without further ado,